Have you ever pressed your TV remote again and again, but the TV still does nothing? You press the power button over and over, but there is no response at all. Before throwing this remote away, let's check one small problem that might be hiding inside. The first thing to test is whether the remote is still sending a signal. If it is not sending anything, the problem starts right here. I'll check the infrared light first. Point the front of the remote toward the phone camera and press a button, but there is no signal at all. So is the remote really broken, or are the batteries just weak? Before opening it up, we need to check the power, because many remote problems start with something simple. Now, I'll switch the multimeter to DC voltage. Since this is a small AA battery, I'll turn the dial to the 2.5 volt range so we can get a clear reading. Place the red probe on the positive end of the battery and place the black probe on the negative end. A usable AA battery should usually read around 1.3 volts or higher, and as you can see, this battery is still testing very well. So the problem is probably not the power source. We need to look deeper inside the remote. If the batteries are still good, but the remote still does not work, the problem is probably inside the case. After years of use, dust, moisture, and dirt can build up around the buttons and the circuit board. At this point, I'll use a flathead screwdriver to gently pry open the remote cover. Work around the edge slowly. The plastic clips inside can crack if we force them too hard. At first, I thought it was just a little dirty. But look at this. Dust and grime are covering everything, from the circuit board to the rubber buttons. With this much buildup inside, it is not hard to see why the remote stopped working. The first thing we need to do is clean out all the loose dust and dirt. For this step, I'm using a soft brush because the parts inside are small and delicate. We do not want to scratch the circuit board or damage any of the electronic components. Gently brush across the surface of the board around the buttons and along the edges where dust usually gets trapped. After just a few passes, you can already see a lot of dirt coming loose. These areas collect dust very easily over time, but they are almost impossible to clean while the remote is still closed. That is why an old remote can look normal on the outside, but still have a lot of buildup hiding inside. But cleaning the dust alone is not enough. The real problem may be on the contact points. So next, I'll use a little WD-40 to clean those areas more carefully. I'll spray a small amount of WD-40 into this little bowl. Do not spray it directly onto the circuit board. Too much liquid can make a bigger mess and may affect the small parts inside. Instead, dip the tip of a cotton swab into the WD-40 just enough to make it slightly wet. Then, gently wipe the contact points on the circuit board, one spot at a time. These are the areas where the rubber buttons press down and complete the signal. I'll also clean the matching contact surface under the rubber keypad, because dust moisture and old residue can build up there after years of use. WD-40 helps clean light oxidation and remove moisture sitting on the surface. That gives the contacts a better chance to work again when the buttons are pressed. After cleaning the contact points with the cotton swab, I'll take a clean cloth and lightly touch it to the WD-40. I only need a small amount here, just enough to help loosen the dirt on the plastic. Then, I'll wipe down the plastic shell carefully. This helps remove the old grime and makes the remote look much cleaner before we put everything back together. After a long time of use, the conductive carbon layer under the buttons can wear down. That is why the buttons may respond poorly or stop working completely. I'll try a simple trick. Use a pencil to lightly shade the contact surface. The inside of a pencil contains graphite, and graphite can conduct electricity. This is only a simple, temporary fix. For a longer lasting repair, conductive paint or a replacement rubber keypad would work better. I only want to add a very thin layer on these buttons, just enough to help the contact work better. While I'm doing this, let me know in the comments where you are watching from. I always enjoy seeing how far these repair ideas travel. Now the contacts are cleaner, the buttons look better, and everything is ready to go back together. Place the circuit board and rubber keypad back into the remote. Close the cover carefully. Make sure the edges snap into place, and install the batteries again. Before testing it with the TV, I'll check the infrared emitter one more time and press a button. Now look closely. This time the infrared light is flashing on the screen. That means the remote is sending a signal normally again. So the battery is good, the contacts are working, and the buttons are responding. Everything is ready for the final test. Now it's time to try it on the TV. I'll point the remote at the screen and press the power button. There it is. The TV turns on. This remote looked like it was ready for the trash, but now it is working normally again. We checked the batteries, cleaned out, the dust cleaned the contact points, and restored the worn button surface. Sometimes you do not need to buy a new remote right away. A careful cleaning and a simple repair can save some money and bring an old remote back to life. If you have an idea for something else you want me to try repairing, leave it in the comments. Who knows, your idea might become the next video.